Hey folks, welcome back, or of course if you're brand new here, welcome to Lone Pine Tarot for the very first time, but either way, thank you so much for choosing to join us for our pick a card reading today. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I am super excited for spring this year. Maybe it's a bit premature, I know it's not quite the spring equinox yet, but I don't know, I have a really good feeling about this season, and so I just thought, why not jump into a topic that reflects the season of spring. So, of course, as you can tell by the title you just clicked on, our topic today is the part of your life that's about to transform. So, let's get into it. Without further ado, first let's pick our piles. As you can see, I've already pre-selected 3 different cards for our pile leaders today. For pile 1 over here on the left, you have the Buttercup. For pile 2 here in the middle, you have the Clover. And pile 3 on the right, you have Wisteria as your pile leader. So pile 1 Buttercup, pile 2 Clover, pile 3 Wisteria. Though as I always say, you are perfectly welcome to pause right on this part of the reading if you need more time to decide what pile you would like read for you. If you're new to pick a card readings, I always suggest go with your gut instinct. What draws your eye first? What feels right with your intuition when you look at these 3 different choices? But whatever your method, when you are ready, drop to the description box below, find the timestamp for your pile, and I will see you in our fun, very spring-themed chat about the part of your life that is about to transform. See you in your readings, everyone. Hi there, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading about the part of your life about to transform. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to Buttercup for your pile leader / well, technically flower today. As we always do with pile leaders, I'm going to set this one off to the side to start. And let's begin your reading today with the rest of your oracle card spread. So, of course, calling on your spirit guides, ancestors, guardian angels for the highest, best good. Please tell us more about the part of pile 1's life that's about to change soon. What's going to shift? What's going to transform in some way? Thank you. And then we have our flower card, very fitting for spring, right? Actually, we're going to set that one up here. Next, we have the Power of Surrender deck, because part of transformation and new things coming in is surrendering things, letting things go, right? And I think I already know which card is yours. Quite prominently, this one right away was sticking out, so we'll take that one. And then last but not least, we have the Nature's Whispers Oracle for you. Okay, pile 1. I'm feeling this one right here, so let's choose that. And then let's unveil your oracle cards first. So, first up, Botanical Inspirations, your flower card, is the Magnolia with the theme or title of Nobility and Self-Esteem, and the quote at the bottom says, "There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow men. True nobility lies in being superior to your former self." And that, of course, was by the famous author Ernest Hemingway. Okay, so I'll put the Magnolia up here at the top. Try to make that even. I'll try not to be too much of a perfectionist, right? Then your surrender card today is Surrender Denial, and kind of a spring-themed, well, it almost kind of seems more summery. She's in a field of what almost looks like wheat. It says, "Accept people and situations exactly as they are without denying the difficulties. Then you can see things clearly and make the best decisions." Okay. Talk about that more in a bit as we weave all of the cards together. And then last but not least, over here with Nature's Whispers, you received, speaking of clarity, we have number 39, Clear Endeavor. And you know what I noticed? There's a lot of like white color symbolism in your reading today, pile 1. And of course, as we know with color symbolism, white tends to mean like truth. It tends to mean, well, clarity, as a lot of the cards have been saying. Innocence, new beginnings, the fresh, the young, youthful, etc. So it's very fitting with our theme today for the spring reading. Let me look at everything in totality here. And then, of course, too, I also took notes on your Buttercup from the guidebook today. It's called the Seed and Sickle Oracle. I didn't mention that before. So if you're interested in that deck, wonderful deck. That is the Seed and Sickle. Buttercup tends to mean, let's see, the keywords I kind of derived from the guidebook were passion and determination, things paying off stemming from passion and determination, more specifically, patience being the key to things, and also waiting and working for something. But then we have some themes tying in here, of course, with, self-esteem pops up, nobility, comparing yourself to yourself rather than to other people, things being quite clear in your endeavors. And then, yes, denial is a little bit maybe of a piece of advice here, or maybe it's part of the transformation process that's currently going on that will help you kind of awaken to this new dawn or this new change coming forward. So, of course, we'll see more nitty-gritty is like the term I like to use, pile on. More nitty-gritty details regarding specifically what this is pertaining to with the tarot spread, which we'll draw here in a short while. But from what I'm picking up on intuitively with your oracle cards, I think this change, this transformation, is something to do with something that you've been working on for quite a while. Or it's like something, even if it's not like a long time span necessarily, it has been a lot of effort. So whatever you've been working on very strictly, you've been maybe pouring blood, sweat, and tears into it. You've been trying to figure out, like, how do I get this from A to B in terms of, the start to my goal. Whatever you've been focusing on, because as with Clear Endeavor specifically, that card tells me as the tarot reader, this is something that, like, for sure, this is what my eyes on the prize. This has been the prize that I've been looking at, okay, or have been on. So I think, too, what they're saying because of Buttercup is that the transformation is that it is going to pay off, because as we talked about earlier just a second ago, Buttercup is a card of passion and determination finally paying off. Also, good things coming to those who wait because of the virtue of patience. Now, there is a little bit of a sub-theme here to it, because we have, things about self-esteem and things about denial. I almost wonder if the lack of outward success with whatever this endeavor has been knocking your self-esteem a little bit recently. Very possibly, you felt maybe I should start anew. Maybe I should just kind of dump out this old thing that I feel like is not working and start with a fresh slate. Maybe that's kind of why a lot of this white color symbolism has been coming up a lot with, pretty much everything. Like magnolias are white, and then both of the figures in the two other oracle cards are wearing white too, right? So it's that feeling of like, oh, maybe I should just let go of that old thing, or I should start this new thing, or new goal, I should say, maybe not specifically thing, and that's because it might stem from a lack of self-esteem, and that inherently is probably stemming from that lack of at least perceived success with whatever this is. And I think, Pile 1, if I really had to put a pin in what the denial specifically is, it's the denial of your own the quality of what you're trying to achieve, because you might think, well, if it's not being received the way I want it to be, or it's not getting to the milestone I want it to be at, you might be thinking, well, maybe it isn't as quality as I thought it was. So it's kind of, in that way, it might be kind of affecting your self-esteem. And I think it might also be a denial, not just of self-esteem and the denial of the quality of the thing that you're trying to achieve. It might also be denial in terms of maybe accepting that, yes, it has been very difficult. I totally understand. I've been there myself with multiple projects too, Pile 1. It's been very difficult to be patient, but sometimes this little denial thing might come in the form of denying that sometimes things just take time, okay? And it's not that you haven't put already enough time or effort into whatever this is, but it's basically saying that, what's the best way to put it? You know what I'm trying to get at, right, Pile 1? It's that thing of we might think, oh, well, 1 month has been enough time for this. It's been cooking in the oven that long. It should be done by now, right? Or, 5 months versus, maybe even 1 year, or however long you've been working on this clear endeavor. Sometimes we get a little bit unrealistic with how hard we are on ourselves in terms of the timeline. Because if you look at your peers with whatever this project or thing is, this goal, you might find that a lot of people have found success at an even farther date or farther timeline than you have. So it's kind of like Spirit saying, well, why are you being so hard on yourself with this? Just look at the people around you with these goals. Most people in most endeavors in life don't get to things as fast as they want to, or as fast as like maybe it even seems like success comes on the outside. That's another thing too is, common phrase I like to use is comparison is the theft of joy. So if you find yourself comparing your progress on this particular goal or thing, project, etc. with other people, you might be only seeing like the gloss and the gleam and the glitter and whatnot of like these other people that make it seem as if like, oh, everything has been so smooth and I got here so fast. And, people are doing similar things to the thing that you're trying to achieve. But as the old quote goes or says, I suppose I should say, is not all that glitters is actually gold. Okay, so people probably have struggled just as much as you have. And I say that because it's like you maybe are being too hard on yourself, is kind of what I'm trying to get at. But of course, let's look at your tarot spread. Haven't even got to those yet. Very fittingly, we're using the Ostara Tarot today. I thought, why not use the Ostara deck in the season? And we're coming to Ostara, spring, etc. So, spirit guides, ancestors, guardian angels, beings that want to help, pile one. Tell us more about this transformation in their life. Because we talked about the context. It's something that they've been working really hard on. They've been patient for. Maybe it's been dinging their self-esteem. Okay, those almost flipped out. I think I'm going to take those two, because they almost did flip out. Basically, we're about ready to fly. So we'll take those. So 1 and 2. 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Let's unveil your tarot cards, pile 1. So first up, we have the Queen of Pentacles. Very fitting for this type of reading, especially like when it comes to goals. Specifically, goals that are related to like career or money or resources or stability or the home, because those are the areas of life that the Pentacle suit relates to. So could also specifically represent you. You could be, feminine energy. Pentacles tends to mean earth signs, so, Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus, etc. But let's keep going. We'll weave the whole story together. Second card is more Pentacles. We have the 4 of Pentacles reversed, so more earth energy. And that's usually the energy of releasing resources, letting go of that which was being held on too tightly in the past. Then we have the 5 of Cups reversed, which is also a really good card to get in reversed. Usually upright, it would mean a sorrow of some sort or hardship. Reversed, it's like we're overcoming a sorrow of some sort. So I think this is like the cusp of the change that we're talking about with today's, topic, what's transforming in your life. Then we have, awesome, the 8 of Swords reversed. Also great to get reversed. We have a card of releasing ourselves from what felt like a prison before, especially mental prison, because it is an air card being swords. But the last but not least card, we have the 7 of Cups. Now that one is kind of a neutral card. We'll talk about that more in a moment. That one is typically more to do with really deciding what is it that we truly want. What is it that is just a dream, and what is it that is just a reality, and making what was that nebulous kind of idea thing finally into what's the solid path that I want, and then it becoming like an actual manifested thing, I guess, to kind of summarize. It's one of those really cool cards that kind of has that, I don't know, it's very unique kind of interpretation to that card. Like, say in comparison to like the 3 of Swords would be like, oh, it's just the card of pain, right? That one's pretty cool. But anyways, long story short, I'll stop nerding out over the 7 of Cups. Yeah, totally makes sense that for a lot of you, this goal is probably related to, as I said, career, job, resources, money, business, especially too, can be another area of life that the Pentacle suit revolves around, because you do have 2 Pentacles cards, especially in the beginning. And I think, through the evolution of the elements of your tarot spread today, we start with Earth, so it's very like the mundane, as I said, money, stability, etc., job. But then we kind of go through this emotional process, because then we have a Cups right in the middle, and it's the heart of the matter card, as I like to call my central card in my spread. And Cups is all about, as I said, an emotional process, can be somewhat related to relationships, but especially the 5 of Cups is more about internal feelings most of the time. And then we get to kind of an air-water theme at the very end, with especially the 8 of Swords would be air. And then water again, just like the 5 of Cups, with the 7 of Cups at the very end. So I think overall, before we delve into like what the transformation looks like in terms of the nitty-gritty. Here's the tangible thing that's going to happen. The internal process for you, pile 1, is going to be, this started out as you had a very tangible goal. Okay. Money, job, career, etc. All those pentacles at the very beginning. And then I think part of, some of you here, is what I'm hearing, is might have even asked, why was this delayed? Why have I had to be so patient? And I think pile 1, especially based on that 7 of Cups at the very end, because remember I said that's the card of processing what is actually like a dream and an idea into the reality of what path we're actually going to take. I think the reason you had to wait was because there's something about the goal you have in mind or the thing you've been working on that needed more time to sort of bake in the universe oven, I guess, to use kind of a weird phrase, in terms of it becoming anew or becoming something more complete in terms of your vision. More complete, at least what I mean is, than it was before at the beginning. Like, I think at the beginning it might have just started as maybe a more simple goal, right? It's just, make this amount of profit with my new business, or get this promotion, or, start this thing, whatever it is that you've been working on, this clear endeavor, as I said. Kind of was maybe a more mundane thing at first. But then, because of the struggle that you have been through, and because of, and we talked too, like, maybe self-esteem has even taken a hit. Maybe you've been kind of even denying the quality of the thing that you're trying to achieve, or you've been denying, like, how much you've been pouring into it too. Because sometimes that can happen. You can get into the idea of, denying that you have done enough. Because sometimes you might think, oh, do I just need to do more? I need to tweak this thing. I need to pour in more hours over here. I need to spend money on this particular part of it, and maybe that will improve over here. Like, all those things we kind of get mired in. And especially, too, because of the 8 of Swords, that is a card of freeing ourselves from a mental prison when it's reversed. So I think anxious thoughts have been a part of this, too. So we start with the mundane, and then it started getting into kind of the emotional side of things and the mental side of things. So a lot of this project you've been working on has actually been an alchemization or a transformation of the heart and the mind. But then that outwardly affects what you're working on, because of that 7 of Cups at the end, into a more solidified, or like I said, complete goal. So I will tell you this. I have a really positive forecast here for you. Right now, in your present position, or the heart of the matter, I call that central card, as I mentioned before, you have the 5 of Cups reversed. And as I said, when I pulled that out, that tends to mean we are overcoming an emotional hardship. We're overcoming, perhaps, if I was correct before, you felt that resonated when I said, oh, maybe you've been feeling your self-esteem taking a hit, right? That process is coming to an end very soon. Specifically, it is leading towards, in the near future, with the 7, or I'm sorry, not the 7, 8 of Swords reversed. I was thinking of the 7 because of the 7 of Cups. Specifically, overcoming hardship towards the 8 of Swords reversed, because we're mentally freeing ourselves from something that our own mind was holding us back in some way. Okay? I think it is that self-esteem. So, although it's not always 100% good to get self-esteem from outside sources, right? Because if we get self-esteem from outside sources, therefore inherently, that is a self-esteem we cannot control, because outside forces are always outside of our control most of the time. I think this is a situation where you'll start maybe seeing some success, at least to the point where you'll get that outside validation of, oh, okay, maybe it wasn't the quality, maybe there was something else going on as to why this wasn't taking off the way that I thought it should, or, by the timeline I wanted it to, okay? And then, too, just the energy of this 8 of Swords reversed is like something being freed from a cage. So that makes me also think, once again, part of this transformation is this thing taking off a little bit in some way. Now, I won't overpromise. I'm not seeing it with these cards like immediately like blowing up. It's not like, I don't know, like the sun upright would have been more like kind of along those lines, or, like the 9 of Pentacles would have been like a very like great success after a time of a lot of hard work. I'm not saying those, but that doesn't mean that it's not a really major victory, pile 1, because at the very end, as I said, you have that 7 of Cups upright, and that tends to mean, as I said, solidifying dreams into reality, specifically defining more in a detailed way what it is we actually want. So I think also, too, part of this delay with this success has been because it's not in its final form yet. And you're going to see that very soon. And then when you get to the 7 of Cups moment, you're going to go, oh, actually, well, maybe I kind of want to tweak it a bit and put it in this direction. And that might be where you see the more major success. Like I said, that would be like a sun upright or like the Nine of Pentacles upright. Okay, so it doesn't mean that it's not going to like ever blow up, or like it won't ever blow up, I guess is what I should say, or that it will never see like giant success. It's just that right now, this whole transformation itself, literally that's being described as, because that was the whole topic of today's reading, is like what's going to transform in your life soon. It's not that this thing will find that really blow up success, but it's going to transform in a way that'll probably get you to that greater success or milestone that you wanted it to get at. And maybe some of you are already kind of feeling that inkling of like, well, maybe I should kind of tweak my goal a little bit this way, or my milestone I should kind of tweak this way. Or, say for example, if it's like a business you started, maybe initially you were like, well, I want to sell these particular products. And then you get an idea very soon as you're kind of emotionally and mentally processing everything going on. And you think to yourself, well, wait a minute. What if I try selling this product instead or alongside these other ones? And then it's like, boom, that thing kind of does a little bit better. And then therefore it might kind of change the whole trajectory of where this example business goes. Okay, or whatever it is you're working on. Just that's kind of what I'm seeing intuitively. It's going to change. So really the transformation is the transformation of the current dream that you're working on towards a path that does allow greater abundance. Okay. I guess just as one last little card, I do want to ask Spirit if they can tell us maybe a little bit of a hint of where this direction might go to kind of help nudge you in that kind of, well, not to repeat, but that nudge you to that direction, right? So Spirit, can you tell me what direction this might go in with that Seven of Cups energy? Can you give a hint to pile one, please, for their highest best good? Thank you. The Five of Swords reversed. Okay, so what that tells me, pile one, is this tweak or this tiny change of the dream or the goal is going to be something that reduces conflict in some way. It can either be because it's swords, it would be reducing conflict or issues with communication, because that's one area of life that swords oversees with tarot, as, air element, right? It can also be something that reduces stress in some way, especially when it comes to like multiple stresses, like fighting with each other in people's lives. Like, especially like if you're inventing something or it's like some product you're trying to, or business you're trying to do that like reduces stress in some way or reduces problems with communication, something along those lines. Or it can mean, because the Five of Swords reverse can mean like reducing conflict, literally like people arguing about things too. It can be some sort of tweak towards finding greater harmony between people as well. Something along those lines. I'm very curious as to what that might be for you, but of course everyone watching this will be a little bit different for whatever it is you're working on. But that is kind of, they're saying, part of what this reframing of the dream with the Seven of Cups will be around. Okay, beautiful. So that was your reading today on the part of your life that is about to transform. So just to summarize, the whole entire dream might even transform just a little bit to give you a path to greater abundance that you were looking for with the original vision. I guess if I were to just say it all in one sentence, there you go. I hope the reading helped you. You liked it. It resonated with your situation. If so, please like the video, comment down below, and please subscribe if you have not done so already. And thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those three things, if not more. And as we say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, Pile 1. Hello there, Pile number 2. Welcome today to your pick a card reading on the part of your life that's about to transform. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to the very, well, if you're watching this in March, seasonally fitting Clover as your pile leader, or number 19. Now, as we always do when we choose with Oracle cards as our pile leader, I'm going to set it off to the side. And let us start your reading today with your other Oracle cards drawn. So, calling on spirit, ancestors, spirit guides, guardian angels, all beings with the highest, best, good intentions for pile 2 today. Can you tell us more about what's about to change or shift or transform in their life? Thank you. I feel drawn to this one right here. And we'll put your flower card at the top. And then next we have the Power of Surrender deck, because part of transformation is not only welcoming in the new, but also surrendering the old. Okay, bit of a messy shuffle there, although very prominently, I have a feeling I know which card is yours, so we'll take that one. Ooh, I bent the card. Uh-oh. Well, sorry about that. You now have a slightly bent card pile too. I've never done that with that deck before. Whoops, I'll fix it later. That's okay. And then we have Nature's Whispers Oracle. And, I'm feeling actually kind of drawn to this one. Very beautiful. Okay, thank you for your patience as we shuffled. Number 1, let's look at your Botanical Inspirations flower card. Today we have, very fitting for spring, Crocus, with the theme of cheerfulness, and the quote says, "It is spring again. The earth is like a child that knows poems by heart," and that quote was by Rainer Maria Rilke, I believe is how you pronounce the surname. Feel free to correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Looks like Rilke. Rilke? Not sure. But anyways, very fitting for spring. Very beautiful flower. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's one of the very first flowers that comes out after winter in parts of the world. But now onto the unfortunately kind of bent card. This is your power of surrender. And we have surrender to play. Wonderful. Very kind of a sunshiny card there. Take a break from overthinking a goal. Do something fun. Play is a time of recreation and rejuvenation. Very beautiful messages so far. Quite fitting with cheerfulness. We already kind of see a theme tying together here. Last but not least, let's see what your Nature's Whisper says. We have illumination. A lot about light, too. I wonder, would not be shocked, actually, if you might get the sun with your tarot spread today, because you just have a lot of synchronicities along that avenue. But yes, number 2, illumination. Very beautiful. You might also get the moon, because even specifically she's riding on a moth and there's the moon up in the corner, which the moon, like the sun in tarot, is also kind of about what the truth is or the light of something is, but in a different facet. So, gorgeous cards today, pile 2. I see lots of good things coming. Nothing negative. Everything is very positive here. And specifically, we have kind of a double confirmation of the timing with whatever this transformation is being spring, especially because of Crocus. Specifically, that season was brought up, although I know we have friends around the world that watch this channel that have different seasons. Like, I know Southern Hemisphere is a bit different in other parts of the world, but if you don't currently live in a place that is about to enter spring, I would just say assume maybe the next quarter or season that whatever you're currently in, where you're living. You know what I mean, anyways. As I always say, kind of take it how it resonates with your situation. And I didn't even talk about Clover yet specifically. Now, quite obviously, most of us are going to know what Clover symbolizes. It's the very traditional symbol or flower of luck, being, also associated with Ireland, of course, and its beautiful green fields and hills. And looking at my notes from the guidebook for Clover, though, it's not just about a little bit of luck coming your way. It's also about creativity and abundance, specifically in the way that Clover is a symbol of being a fuel for success. And why I say that is because as I was kind of meditating on your card before we started your reading today, I thought about how Clover is kind of a favorite of honeybees, at least in my experience in my area. We have Clover in our yard, and all the time in the spring, the bees are constantly just buzzing between them. And when I say fuel for success, it's because, as we all know, bees take from different flowers for making, their honeycomb, etc., everything that they make together in their hive to survive. And Clover is one of their absolute favorite types of flowers to create that fuel, or resource, I should say, to make that honey. So I think part of this transformation for you, pile 2, kind of, I went on a side tangent there about how cute bees are and they love Clover, right? But what I mean to tie it back to is I think this transformation is something that's going to give you that fuel for abundance and success, just like Clover gives bees that fuel for their success or their abundance, their resources, etc. And 2, I think there's an element here of things becoming a bit lighter because of all this light symbolism that's coming in, and things becoming a little bit more fun again. I don't know if recently maybe you've been going through, well, a literal winter, possibly if you live in the Northern Hemisphere like I do and have 4 seasons, or maybe it was, if not a literal winter, or additionally to a literal winter, it could have been a winter of the soul. And when I say that, maybe it was a bit more of a time for, kind of going within our shell a little bit, being a little bit more quiet, things were a bit more subdued, or sometimes it might even lean into feelings of maybe you've been kind of depressed in the recent months, which my condolences if so, pile too. Never fun to go through. Maybe you've had a sorrow or a loss of some sort. My condolences for that as well, of course. But the beauty is that it feels like this next season is going to really melt away that metaphorical winter of the soul is how I see it. And then you'll have this opportunity, this expanse to start really working on what it is that you want to do again, or things that actually make you feel alive, or literally like surrender to play, things that are actually fun to do, things that you're interested in and whatnot. And there's also a transformation here of things coming to light because of all the light symbolism, things being illuminated. So I'm really curious to see what your tarot cards are. As I said, I would not be shocked whatsoever if you do get, say, the sun or the moon. So speaking of, let's look at those right now. So just to summarize as I shuffle your tarot cards, I mean, a little bit of luck coming your way, a little bit of a seed of luck in terms of maybe helping you gather resources for something that you've been looking for a while. Things being more happy again, things coming to light or making more sense perhaps, maybe even just being happier in general too. So good things. I guess you're my light pile today. And let us see what tarot has to say. 3, 4, and we've got one more. There we go, pile 2. Thank you for your patience. Let's reveal those together. So first up, we have the tarot card of the Tower. Okay, a lot of you, because this is the inciting incident card in my spread, so this is past energy. No wonder why things maybe have been kind of dark recently, if that part of the reading has resonated with you so far. The Tower is usually, in at least this kind of reading, I would read it as something major happened that was, sometimes it's called the disaster card, so maybe something happened that was like a major setback in the recent past or within the past maybe even few years or so. Sometimes it's a card of not maybe just disaster, but just massive change in general. Something happened where it was like we were building up something, we thought everything was going great, and then all of a sudden, boom, the tower falls. Okay, that's what that typically means. Especially in past tense, this means, as I set up to maybe even a year or a few years ago, something occurred. So that could have been that loss that I was talking about, that sorrow. It could have been, the tower sometimes can even mean just like, in terms of mental health, it can mean depression of some sort. Maybe you were doing a little bit better before and then something occurred and then all of a sudden this depression hit and you've been kind of in this fog for a short while or even maybe a bit longer while. So good thing though is that the tower is actually at the beginning, which means it's behind us. So beautiful. Let's keep going. We have the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, another major arcana. Interesting. The Turn of Fate. Karma. Actually, it means good luck too, being upright. Now, that is in the recent past position, so I'm very curious as to where this will go, because we went all the way from one of the darkest cards in the tarot deck, or I shouldn't say dark. I think they all have light and dark aspects, but one of the most pivotal difficult cards in the tarot deck, that's what I'll call it, with the Tower. And then we have one of the most positive with the Wheel of Fortune upright. So let's keep going. I'm curious. Then we have the Five of Pentacles. Okay, so I will say, because this is the present position, maybe that's one of the reasons you clicked on this reading today, you might have been going through financial hardships. That's usually what the Five of Pentacles upright would mean in a reading like this. Once again, it's not good that that is your present, right? I'm not saying that's great, but that means at least that this is kind of energy that you're probably very soon leaving, because it is like the heart or the present energy. Okay. I wonder if some of you, it's like you lost something or something fell apart, and then you had a really good turn of luck with the Wheel of Fortune, and then all of a sudden, boom, you were back at the bottom in some way because of the Five of Pentacles. Very interesting. Let's keep going. And then we have the Five of Swords in the near future. Okay, that's a good card to get reversed. Tends to mean that some sort of conflict has come to a close. And then last but not least, we have the Chariot reversed. Okay, so in this kind of reading, that can be kind of a neutral card. The Chariot doesn't usually mean either like something like very good or very bad, like say the Tower does. We didn't get the Moon or the Sun like I thought we might, but that's okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you've been going through, Pile 2. I mean, feel free to weigh down in the comments down below. I'm curious because what a turn of fate. I mean, you went from the Tower to the Wheel of Fortune, then back to kind of a lower state or more difficult state with the Five of Pentacles. And two, the Five of Pentacles, because that is the element of earth in tarot, it tends to mean like hardship, especially around money or a job or career, or even like housing or stability with the home. Yeah, it's like you lost something. Something fell apart. You thought it was going in a better direction for a while, and then, yeah, now you're in this energy with the Five of Pentacles of like, man, things have been getting really tough and really difficult. But I will say here, Pile 2, because of not only your oracle cards, like Crocus talks about spring, things being renewed, the metaphorical winter thawing, okay? So I see things getting better in that way because of that. And, you know, of course, surrender to play. And the luck to meaning of your Clover, like a little bit of luck coming your way. Things getting lighter, things getting a bit easier too, and then illumination as well. You know, I actually might draw a clarifier on that one. I won't necessarily interpret it yet because I still want to talk about the Five of Swords reversed and the Chariot reversed first, but I'm just going to do that right now as I talk about these. So, Spirit, could you give me a clarifier on illumination, please, while I talk about the other two? Okay, so the other two, though, is, as I said, the Five of Swords in the near future position is a really good sign. It's not necessarily saying that there's like an instant solve in terms of like necessarily like the money related things, because you didn't have a card like say the Nine of Pentacles upright or like the Ace of Pentacles, but there is a reduction of conflict in some way. So wherever you currently have conflict in your life, Pile 2, so that could be, especially with air being the swords element, that could pertain to like verbal conflict where there's been fighting in some way, where there has been perhaps even like mental conflict, even just with yourself, because, you know, depression can stem from mental conflict of things that, you know, we worry about, we're anxious about, things have been kind of biting at us, etc. Whatever it is that's been bothering you in terms of conflict in those areas, or just conflict in general in your life, the Five of Swords reversed means that's going to kind of come to a close here in the near future. So that obviously kind of naturally leads you to open more space in your life to kind of maybe focus on these other things that are more like material related problems that you've been going through with the Five of Pentacles. Okay, so look out for that. I think, yes, obviously like mental health, mental things will get better, maybe anxieties will kind of reduce, and that doesn't necessarily mean that like these financial things or job things won't reduce in terms of like it causing problems. I mean, you might see improvement in that area too. In fact, that might even be why specifically these conflicts lower, is because naturally they lower because these things kind of maybe get fixed here in the near future, therefore inherently like it gets better, right? But at least look out for that and that getting better, okay? And then we have the Chariot reversed. Now the Chariot reversed, my friends, is, as I said, a neutral card. It typically means that, you know, there's something in our life that's been a bit out of control. There's something in our life that we feel as if we don't really know where the direction of it is going, or we feel as if we don't quite have the capability to, you know, just as like someone that is on a horse or on a chariot, you know, like they're usually able to take the reins, they're able to kind of direct where they want it to go. The Chariot reverse can mean that we feel as if we don't have those reins within our hands, okay? So, as an outcome, that can mean that things might still be slightly, I would say maybe chaotic for a while as you kind of fix all of these. And when I say chaotic, I don't mean like anything anywhere near where the Tower was, okay? It's like, that's the other blessing of this reading, is that it's like the absolute worst has already occurred, or the absolute like most pivotal intense thing is way in your past energy here. It's just that they're saying there's still a bit of a process here with that Chariot reversed of things, kind of like that time of process of that transformation of you kind of holding on to those reins and things getting more stable again. But it is upward momentum here, especially because of that Five of Swords. Let me think too, especially when we think of play and luck. Let me actually unveil your illumination clarifier. We have the Nine of Pentacles. Remember when I said that might have been like a really good sign kind of card of like things getting better in terms of finances? I think I mentioned that. If I didn't, that's what it means. It usually means that your hard work is paid off and now you're enjoying the fruits of your labor in some way. I think what this means with illumination, because as we know, illumination means to shed light upon something. Something is coming soon that is going to help you reap more fruits, so to speak, from your labor. Something's going to come soon that sheds light on how you can get more coin and resources out of what it is that you have been working on so hard for, okay? And I think that might be related to this little bit of luck here because of the traditional symbolism of the clover. Very interesting. So I take it back. As I said earlier, like I said the Chariot reverse kind of might mean that things are still a little bit chaotic, and it doesn't necessarily mean that like the financial hardship stuff is over, but now I'm seeing that because of that Nine of Pentacles that came out of left field right there when I clarified illumination. There actually might be an opportunity for that improving in the future here, pile 2. Okay, so that's also part of this transformation, is this little bit of luck coming your way to help improve that in illumination. I'm going to actually just draw one more card for you today in terms of asking where this little bit of luck comes from, so that I, as the tarot reader and spirit in general, just giving you advice, can help you turn that Chariot right side up again in terms of getting control over things, in terms of maybe it's even kind of lasting effects from that Tower moment at the very beginning. So let's ask that, Spirit. What is the mechanism by which this little bit of luck comes to help them maybe stabilize things and help them maybe kind of turn that Five of Pentacles around that they're currently in through the Nine of Pentacles energy? Where does this little bit of luck come from? We have the Ace of Pentacles, or I'm sorry, that's the Ace of Cups reversed, and then, actually I will draw just one more. We have the Two of Wands reversed. Two of Wands reversed and the Ace of Cups reversed. Let me think about that for just a moment here, pile 2. I'm actually just going to take a drink from my voice as well as I look those over. Because Cups and Tarot tend to represent our feelings and our relationships. And Aces typically mean something new. And the Two of Wands reversed typically means something that we're not able to make plans for. Oh. I'm going to interpret it this way. This is what I'm feeling intuitively for you. It is something that you're not planning for, just like you would find literally like a 4-leaf clover on the ground. You don't expect it. And that's why the Two of Wands came out reversed, I feel, because it's like something that you literally cannot plan for. It's just one of those things that kind of comes out of seemingly nowhere. And it's something that has to do with blessings in your life related to your emotions, or blessings in your life in general, because Ace of Cups can represent that, and blessings in your life related to relationships. Now, typically the Ace of Cups reverse would mean a blockage in this area, but we specifically asked Spirit, can you explain where this luck comes from? So I almost wonder if it's luck in terms of it comes unexpectedly because, I mean, it could be like out of a relationship that didn't work out, or it's out of like what seems at first to be like a negative, like something that happens that makes you feel like a negative feeling about it, or like feel about it in like a not so happy way, but it's like a blessing in disguise kind of thing. Or it could literally mean, sometimes they read reversals when I'm asking about like a positive, like a blessing type thing. As we asked, what is this luck coming, or what's the kind of way that it comes forward? I sometimes read those reversals as that's what's going to improve. So then in that case, it would just, I don't know, it's just some sort of blessing coming that you're not planning for. Especially in the realm of relationships. And also, too, specifically this card, and feelings too. But specifically this card is like people celebrating. They're having a toast, they're having a cheer. So it might even be something that comes from a social event too. or your relationship with one other person, because there's like 2 people in the specific card. And then we did have the 2 pop up again with the 2 of Wands. So I guess just to summarize pile 2 with that blessing, look, well, I take it back. You can't even look because it's something you're not even planning for. But I would just say at least anticipate some sort of blessing coming in that way in your life pretty soon that's going to help with fixing whatever this chaos has been from that tower moment in the recent past for you, okay? So just in general, I mean, a lot of this transformation coming in your life is the transformation of recovery from a disaster moment or giant pivotal change, whatever the tower was for you. It's also going to be a transformation from the financial hardship or the career or job stability hardship. That can be many different interpretations of the 5 of Pentacles. In a way that, because of the 9 of Pentacles, is you finally being able to reap the fruits of your labor based on your hard work. Okay? Things are going to get a bit lighter. Things are going to feel like a spring after a winter, maybe even literally for you if you're in the Northern Hemisphere like I am. And things are going to get more fun again with surrender to play. Things are going to be just going to be more lighthearted. I don't know. Things are going to feel a little bit less conflict too. Remember that 5 of Swords reverse that came out? So it's not an immediate, like, boom in your face kind of upswing from what happened, but it's at least like a steady, nice, consistent progress I'm seeing here, okay, from everything that's been going on in your life recently. You know, and it's interesting because for some reason, I feel like intuitively I'm drawn to the way that play is kind of the opposite of what the Chariot would be upright, because usually the Chariot upright is having control over things, and play is kind of like letting go of things and just having fun. You know, it's odd. I almost wonder if inviting more fun into your life would, ironically, in a way that doesn't make sense, help you gain more control over everything that's going on. Maybe that's where this social event comes from, too. Allowing yourself to have more fun, to play more. So I guess that's one last parting piece of advice here for this transformation pile, too, is don't be afraid to enjoy a little bit of fun here. I know things might be kind of hard. I know things have been very difficult, especially with those cards you got, right? But you might find blessings that help you in ways you don't expect, you don't even see coming, or you didn't plan for, because you allow yourself to play and have some fun. Okay? Especially when your connections to other people. Heart to heart. Okay. Beautiful. So that was your reading today on what is going to transform in your life soon, pile 2. I hope the reading, of course, will help you, number 1, that it resonated with you, that you liked it, and if so, gotta say the YouTube stuff. You know how it goes. Like, comment, subscribe, and thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those 3 things, if not more. And as we always say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. And I hope to see you in the next one, pile 2. Bye. Hi there, pile number 3. Welcome today to your pick a card reading on what is about to transform in your life. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to the beautiful Wisteria as your pile leader, or perhaps the number 4. So as we always do when we pick with Oracle card pile leaders, I'm going to put it off to this side. And let's start with drawing the rest of your Oracle card spread. So calling on Spirit, your spirit guides, ancestors, guardian angels, beings of your highest, best good. Can you tell us a little bit more about pile 3's transformation in their life? Thank you. What's going to change soon? Oh, let's see. Actually, I feel drawn to that one. So there's your flower card. Very fitting for spring, right? And next we have the Power of Surrender cards, which is fitting for a transformation reading because in order to welcome in the new, of course, we have to surrender the old. Wow, that was quite easy. I already know which card you're going to get. There we go. We'll put that right up there next to the pine cone and the obsidian. And then we have your Nature's Whispers Oracle for today. And actually, this one feels quite prominent. We will take it. Thank you for your patience, pile 3, as I drew your cards. Let me shift in my seat here. And then let's unveil them together. So first up from Botanical Inspirations, the flower today is the Venice mallow, or it is, I guess, technically part of the hibiscus family based on the scientific name. The theme is delicate, fleeting beauty, and the quote says, "When life is not coming up roses, look to the weeds and find the beauty hidden within them," by L.F. Young. So a bit of a silver lining kind of message, as it said, look for the beauty in the weeds. And then from your surrender deck here at the top, we have surrender to receiving support and love. Two polar bears. Looks like they're, well, I guess they're not really kissing. I don't know if polar bears technically kiss. Feel free to tell me in the comments below if you know that. But anyways, it says, allow the love and support of others in rather than trying to handle everything yourself. You know, that is very funny because that's actually one of your themes of Wisteria I didn't tell you about yet. We'll talk about that in a second. Well, bit of a synchronicity there. We already have a teamwork thing going on. Don't handle everything yourself. This can take the pressure off of and simultaneously nurture you. Okay, I think I already kind of know what this transformation is, but we'll see what everything says first. Nature's Whispers, we have laughter, and we have two figures. Well, I guess babies. Fairies. I guess they have fairy wings. Fairy babies. I don't know. Two fairy babies together, two figures that are having fun together with the number 47, laughter. Looks like pretty good things coming along for you. Now, as I said, it seems like there's kind of a theme of two different people working on something together with this transformation, pile 3. We have the two polar bears. We have the two little fairy babies in laughter. And then, as I said with your Wisteria, well, let's talk about that because I took some notes when I was looking at the guidebook and kind of meditating on your pile leader before I hit record for you today. And Wisteria, I wrote for the keywords, is power in waiting and trusting your inner voice while others may rush ahead. So there might be a little bit of a theme here of transformation regarding where, I don't know, maybe recently in your life you felt like other people were kind of rushing ahead to do something or someone else was, and you were like, well, I'm going to kind of wait. I don't know if it's the right time to pull that trigger. Or maybe there's been kind of conflict around that, people arguing when to do something. But on top of that, the other meaning of Wisteria with this particular guidebook is accepting help and love from others, teamwork. You can even see with the notes I made here. I don't know, I kind of have like not the greatest handwriting. You probably can't even read it. But as I said, yeah, help and love from others, teamwork, which is very fitting with boom, surrender to receiving support and love. So I think what's transforming in your life, we'll see, of course, more nitty-gritty details with the tarot card spread, which we'll get to in a few moments here, but I think you're going to start receiving more help for something that maybe you felt quite lonely on in the recent past, and that's very possible that you have had, like, say, a job at where there's been a project going on at work, and maybe you were, like, put on something yourself alone, and you really needed a lot more personnel on whatever that is than they gave you initially. In that case, pile 2, or I'm sorry, not pile 2. Duh. I was saying 2 because I was thinking about how, like, there's 2 of everything here. Anyways, pile 3. Whoopsie daisy. Like, say it's like a project at work with this example and you've been alone and you need more personnel. In that case, like this type of reading, I would read for you as you're finally going to get some teamwork and help on whatever this is. Or maybe there's been kind of a lot of conflicts recently in, say, maybe your job, right? But also maybe like family, maybe in a relationship. It's like things finally coming back into harmony, things finally getting back to a place of, okay, we have teamwork, we're focused on the same goal, and we're not so much focused on what we disagree on. We're thinking about how we're going to get this done. Let's keep going together. And also, even to a more positive way, or extent maybe I should say, is with laughter, it kind of implies, implies. I guess I can't talk today, pile 3, I don't know. Maybe communication's been really messy with the situation I'm describing for you. Maybe that's why I keep misspeaking a million times, but I don't know, or it's just my nervous Gemini energy. I don't know. Either way, not implicates. It implies with laughter that it's not only going to get to the point of harmony, it's going to get to the point of fun again. So it could also mean a relationship improving to the point of fun. Say, obviously we say relationship, we initially think of love. So maybe with a partner that you're in with together that you're in love with, or is like your romantic partner. Could also mean familial love too. Maybe with family, you're going to find some more harmony where there was conflict before. It could also mean too, in terms of platonic love, friendship. Maybe a friend you've been kind of butting heads with lately, or haven't really talked to them a lot, things have been kind of disconnected, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now we're kind of meeting up together again, we're kind of working together on things again, even if it's just the work of, quote unquote work of rebuilding our relationship together again after a separation. So very beautiful energy. Although there is one little tiny thing, as I said, with the Venus Mallow of it being a silver lining kind of situation. I think you may look back at the struggles of what's been going on in this relationship or project or whatever it has been, as like there were silver linings to it than you initially perceived because of the harmony that you get to or the teamwork that you finally receive. It's like you might finally... I don't know, it's kind of like when you're out of a certain struggle in life, sometimes you look back and you realize, okay, well, things look a little bit different outside of it or like in retrospect than it did while we were like deep mired inside what was going on and like the stress at the time. So there's kind of an element of that there too with the Venus Mallow. So yeah, let's grab your tarot cards here. I want to see more about the whole details, the nitty gritty, as I said. So Spirit, can you tell me a bit more about pile 3? And what's going on here, this transformation? Okay, definitely that one. There is 2, Tres, Cuatro, and Cinco, number 5. Okay, beautiful. Number 1 for you, pile 3, today is the 6 of Wands in the farther past or inciting incident position. That tends to mean a victory of some sort or something that was kind of public in some way. Interesting for your very first card. And then we have in the second position the Major Arcana card of the Emperor, which is masculine energy, but in general can also represent control, structure, authority over things, making things orderly where it was chaotic before. Then in the middle we have, well, how fitting. There is one card in tarot that represents teamwork, and you just got it as the heart of the matter. This is the 3 of Pentacles, my friends. Well, yeah, I know. Yep, you're going to get a lot more help with something, I think, is the transformation coming with. Okay, but anyways, kind of repetitive, but you know what? That's good because it's confirming what we were picking up on before. And then we have the 10 of Wands in the near future. Okay, so that can kind of be like a little bit of a nudge of advice or maybe kind of just something to look out for, but let's keep going. And last but not least, we have, interesting, pile 1 had this as their outcome card too, the 7 of Cups. And as I told pile 1, I love that card as an outcome because really, I do see the 7 of Cups as a card of transformation and change in and of itself, specifically when it comes to like our dreams or what we actually want to achieve versus, I guess just to summarize, it's like that alchemical process in terms of our heart and our mind when it comes to what are my ideas and my dreams and what's actually like the valid, solid path I want to take or the thing I really want to go after. That's the energy of the 7 of Cups summarized. So interesting spread here, as I said. 3 of Pentacles makes total sense. Not shocked it came up. Card of teamwork. You have a lot of cards about that today, including your Wisteria, and of course receiving support and love with the polar bears that are may or may not be kissing. I don't know. Anyways, but looking at this in totality, so we have, let's see, 2 Wands, which is fire. Tends to mean something that you've been ambitious or passionate about or something that you're trying to create. And then the Emperor I always see as Major Arcana I don't always associate an element with, but for sure we do have Earth with the 3 of Pentacles, and then we have a little bit of water with the Cups. So definitely a situation where, as I said, ambition, passion, creativity has been like the main factor involved, but then also maybe a bit of resources when it comes to teamwork with the 3 of Pentacles, and then emotions and relationships when it comes to solidifying what we actually want with that 7 of Cups. So the 6 of Wands, we'll kind of go through everything one by one, tells me that whatever the situation is, it stems out of this inciting incident of either like you succeeded at something initially, like say, we'll keep going with the work example, like say it's a project that you've been wanting more help on. Maybe you were assigned this project in the first place because you succeeded very well at something at work, and they were like, oh, Pile 3 is really great at this. Like, we should just give this next project to them. They're going to do so dang well. Although, maybe that's the silver lining. They trusted in you. They thought, oh, this is great for Pile 3. They're going to just knock it out of the park, right? But silver lining is, yes, the admiration, but maybe the pitfall was that they underestimated how much personnel might actually be needed for this particular project. So it was good because it's a compliment, but it might have been kind of a double-edged sword, so to speak, of maybe they put a little bit too much on one person because of your victory. Or in general, it's like there's something very public about this. Like if it is, say, a job-related thing, maybe it's a project that really is heavily related to the image of the company that you're working for, or if it's like your own business, same thing. Maybe you've been kind of doing your business so far completely on your own, and maybe you have gotten to a point of public acclaim of like a lot more success. However, inherently, when we gain more success with our own business, what happens? More work. Therefore, maybe it's a little bit too much for us to handle on our own. So maybe you've been considering, maybe I need to hire some people. Maybe you've been looking for someone to hire to help you. Maybe it's not been going so well in your search, okay? Like maybe that's kind of what the struggle has been coming out of. And then too, it can also mean if it's not a job or business related thing, very possibly if this is more a relationship that was kind of rocky for a bit there in terms of harmony and in terms of like, supporting each other and helping each other. I wonder if it's because one of you in the relationship had an issue where, I mean, once again, it's like the double-edged sword where maybe like they got some public success, but it rocked the relationship in some way, or like there's something that came to like light or like public or something along those lines. Okay. So maybe even if it's not you, it's like the other person involved in this partnership or other people involved in what's going on is like some sort of, I don't know, like maybe like they got a promotion, but then it's been taking them away from the relationship with you because they've been so busy with work. It's just something along those lines where in either case, however it resonates with you, I think you've been feeling kind of alone, Pile 3. You've been like, oh man, I feel so alone. I'm in my own corner. I feel like, this person isn't helping me, or other people involved at this job or whatever aren't helping me if there's more than one person involved, like I said. And although it allowed you a lot of great control with the Emperor in the recent past, because it's like you had the authority, you had the leadership, or the person involved maybe had, say if it's a partner, they had more leadership and authority and control over what's going on. And that's the silver lining, once again, of doing something on your own, is you're your own boss, right? Or you kind of get to decide the direction of things. You're the final, deal maker and change maker and the final say on everything. Or I think you kind of figured out, or they did, this really isn't working in terms of either the workload on just one person, or this isn't working out in terms of it's causing disharmony in my relationships. Okay. So this is where we're getting to the point of transformation and change. Boom, right in the present position. It's either, the Three of Pentacles came out because you're looking for teamwork in some way. Like I said, maybe you have your own business. You've been maybe kind of deciding and figuring maybe I should hire someone else to help me. Like you've gotten to the stage of hiring other people, whereas it used to just be like a solo operation before. Or maybe it's like you have already hired this person, but you feel like they're not supporting you enough right now, or like they're not helping enough. It's maybe you're kind of like wondering if it was a good hire or not. It's just something along those lines. Or same thing too with if it is like a relationship, love related thing or friend related thing. It's like you're just, I don't know, someone isn't holding up their end of the bargain, I guess, just to summarize. And then in the near future, we do have the card of burdens with the 10 of Wands. That tends to mean we have a heavy, like a heavy thing upon our backs, a heavy burden. We're carrying a little bit too much weight, which once again makes a lot of sense for those of you that this is a reading about. Like maybe you are doing a solo project, or maybe your partner is, and it's been kind of tearing them away from the relationship with you. So either way, there's some burdens here in the near future in terms of, because it's next to the teamwork card, you trying to find, or them trying to find, everyone involved, a solution to relieve that burden thanks to teamwork in some way, okay? And I think part of what that involves, pile 3, sorry, I paused, there's unfortunately a cat meowing outside, I hope they're okay. Poor kitty, I hope you're okay. I think what that involves, though, pile 3, getting back on topic, is that there is you or someone else involved because of that 10 of Wands needing to accept the idea of, yes, I can't do this alone. I have to ask for help. Or, like, say if it's a situation where you already hired somebody and maybe it's not working out the way that you wanted it to, or, you know, project at work, maybe they did give you someone else to help you and, like, it's, like, not exactly maybe the right person to help you with this. In that case, the burden might be the acceptance of, okay, maybe this particular iteration of trying to get teamwork or trying to get more help involved didn't work, so maybe I need to think about, like, letting that person go and trying to find a new hire that works really well, that relieves a burden in some way. Or, you know, same thing if, you know, it's your partner that's been more busy at work. Then, I mean, in that case, too, maybe you've been trying to get them to realize this burden it's had on your relationship. Maybe you've been trying to get them to realize, like, hey, work's been kind of taking you a little bit too far away from other things in life. I think it's been maybe too heavy of a burden on you, in which case the 10 of Wands in that case, sorry, I repeated that twice. In that case, you know what I meant. Anyways, is like you getting them to realize, yes, this is a burden in some way. So in which case, that's one of the few ways the 10 of Wands might actually be a positive interpretation for you, pile 3. But in any way, no matter what happens, at the very end here, you have the 7 of Cups. And as I said at the very beginning, that is the card of transformation, just like our title says, from nebulous ideas and things that aren't quite solidified towards, okay, this is what I actually want. This is what I'm actually going to go for. So to summarize, really, pile 3, the transformation coming in your life soon is a transformation of finally receiving support and love in some way, be it for yourself or someone else involved that, like, their burdens have been affecting you if it's not yourself, right? And a transformation of going it solo to finally having, you know, other hands on deck, so to speak, but also a transformation of realizing what has been too much of a burden and using that to decide what is it that I really want. And I think based especially on the laughter card is, I don't know, there's some aspect of it that I think is going to turn towards, I mean, if it's a relationship for you, pile 3, I feel like it's like you're going to finally kind of get to that point of the relationship where it's fun again, where it's like things are in harmony again. But sometimes to do that, it takes like a refocusing and then a realization of, like, yes, this burden is actually a problem. And then that's the path that is taken and solidified through the 7 of Cups to say, okay, we're going to focus on having more fun together again. Like, as I said, in a relationship, maybe that means going out on more intentional dates, okay? Or doing more fun things together, whereas before maybe that kind of fell to the wayside, you know, etc. Or if it's not related to relationship, like I said, could be business or a job. In that case, I think whatever project you're working on or whatever thing you're trying to do does get kind of redefined and reinvented in some way because of that 7 of Cups energy through the realization of something had been a burden upon you in the near future. In which case, maybe it's even like people in control of the situation, say your manager, realizing, this is a little bit too much for pile 3 to handle on their own. Let's relook at this project. Let's maybe reassign some more personnel to what's going on, or this project, job, goal, whatever it is, etc. Okay, so I guess just to summarize in one sentence, the transformation here for you, pile 3, is not having to do something alone and not feeling so alone, and finally finding the support that you need and things kind of getting more fun again. So very positive transformation. But just remember that piece of advice from the 10 of Wands here in the near future of, you know, make sure to recognize or to help others recognize what has been a burden lately. Because by recognizing the problem, that is the very first step to fixing it. Okay, so maybe so far it hasn't been acknowledged or said out loud because, you know, people don't want to rock the boat, or like say if it's you've been handling something solo, it's maybe hard to admit to yourself or to others that, you know, maybe I can't handle this alone. But there's no shame in saying that, pile 3. There's nothing wrong in saying I can't do something alone. Like nothing, almost nothing in life is done 100% alone, and there's no shame whatsoever in involving other people. Okay. And in fact, actually involving other people and things sometimes is a blessing to them because it allows them opportunities to grow and to change and learn things from either the project itself or from maybe even you kind of in a mentor role too, depending on your relationship with the other people involved, right? But so beautiful. A time of less burden, a time of more help for you. Wonderful. Okay, that was a reading today about what's about to transform in your life, pile 3. I think that is everything, yeah. So I hope you liked it. I hope it helped you. I hope it resonated. And if so, please like the video, comment, and subscribe if you have not done so already. And thank you so much if you choose to do so. Any one of those 3 things, if not more. And as we say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye, pile 3.